Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. We've got all the latest Manchester United news with a bit of breaking news concerning a signing. United have actually got a here we go with the left back, so we'll be getting into all that. But before we do, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers by the end of the year. With your support, yes, we can get there. Loads of people already in the comments. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Let's get into it then, because we were going to talk about this bust-up, and we will talk about this bust-up between Amad Diallo and Rasmus Hojlund. It was a storm in a teacup. It was nothing. A little bit of an argument at the end of the game yesterday. Ruben Amorim's comment on it. We'll get into all that. But before we do, we want to talk about Diego León. We've got a tweet here from Fabrizio Romano. You may have heard of him. He's quite reliable. It says, Manchester United reach verbal agreement to sign 17-year-old Paraguayan left-back Diego León from Cerro Porteño. Here we go. Those three magic words. Here we go. That's what we want to hear in it as Manchester United fans. I think most fans love hearing that when it means we've signed a player. Initial fee will be $4 million. That dollars plus $1 million, easy add-ons, and over $3.5 million based on players' teams' future performances. Diego León will arrive in July 2025. So we've got a young left-back. We know we have got massive issues with the left-back position. Now, we know it's probably going to be left wing-back when it comes to Ruben Amorim and the style and the formation he likes to play. But if you look at our left-back options, or left wing-back if you want, Luke Shaw, massive injury problems. Looked like he was getting fit again. Came in the other week and then was injured again. Couldn't go to the Arsenal. Was it Arsenal where he did a statement saying that he's had another injury setback? He just can't catch a break, this kid, pardon the pun. And it's just become, it's become almost untenable. Tyrell Malacia, to be fair, the lad has come back into the team and has done relatively well. I don't think he's set the world alight, but he's positive steps so far. Obviously, he's only played about, 2 halves of football in the last 18 months. So you can't judge him too harshly. He's been all right. Is he going to be at the levels you need? We'll have to wait and see. Then you've got someone like Diogo Dalot who can play on the left wing back, but he's not a left back, and he's having a bit of a ropey one this season, to be fair. I think he needs to stay on the right hand side. You've also got Amad Diallo, who has been used as a right wing back. He hasn't been used as a left back, so I'm not going to say he is. But you do wonder whether Ruben Amorim could consider that. Then you've got Harry Amas, who's in the academy. 17 years old, doesn't look like he's going to get any minutes anytime soon. I like Harry Amas, but is he going to be in the first team? Does the manager trust him? Certainly not yet. He's obviously a young lad. He's got a long way to go. But buying a young left back makes a lot of sense. Let's not forget as well, was it Kenda, the kid at Sporting, I think was 17, when Ruben Amorim just gave him his debut, but he used him, I think he was pretty much a regular by the time Ruben Amorim left. So he is, he has got a track record of using young players, even in the wing-back positions. So this isn't anything new to him. I don't know what is going to happen with Diego León. Is he going to come in and start for Manchester United? Is he going to come in and have to wait? We're not going to get him till July anyway. So it's not like we're going to get him in January and he's going to, play a part this season. But it'll be interesting to see whether he's being brought in as a backup, as someone who's going to rotate with perhaps another left-back coming in, or one of the left-backs we've already got, or does Ruben Amorim or Manchester United, do they view him as potentially a starter for Manchester United? Lots of ifs and buts and maybes here. We don't know a lot about him. We're going to get a few more statties and a bit more info on the lad, because we spoke about him the other day on Paddock Live, me and Joe, because we were linked with him then. Fabrizio Romano has been all over this story for a few days now, where he's been talking about, I think we had a here we go soon the other day was the tweet, and then he sort of followed that up this morning with an actual here we go, not a here we go soon, but the here we go. So we don't know loads about him. He's not played loads of football, but we can get into a few little stats. There's another tweet as well from Romano here. You can see, understand Manchester United will try to plan Diego León's trip to Manchester in order to visit Carrington, Old Trafford ahead of formal move in July. León will only be able to play for Manchester United from the summer 2025. Never been any other option, as he's still 17 now. So I'm just looking at some of the stats and the rounds up we've got here. It says he made his competitive debut in the Paraguayan top flight for Cerro Porteño in August, and he quickly established himself as a first team regular from his debut. León started the next 9 games and played every minute in 8 of those fixtures. This is from Transfermarkt, the talented defender possesses immense physicality for his age, and he's dangerous in attacking areas, as highlighted by his 2 goals, count them, 2 goals this season. That's 2 more than Jack Grealish has got. Speaking to Transfermarkt, ESPN's associate editor and Paraguayan football expert Roberto Rojas provided some insight. He said he's a player with a lot of promise. What happened to make this big jump into the first team at Cerro Porteño so quickly? As someone, who happened to make this big jump into the first team at Cerro Porteño so quickly? As someone coming from a remote place, he's 300 kilometres from the capital of Paraguay, and growing up in difficult circumstances, León has proven to be someone who can surpass the adversity to get where he's been. He's definitely viewed highly because of his talent and recent performances for one of the biggest clubs in the country, and occupying that left flank as a fullback has allowed him to be someone who can go onto the attack, start playing from the back, and also be versatile. So he's obviously someone who you think could fit into that wing-back role. We do play that now, don't we? That's what we're doing. I'd be very surprised if Ruben Amorim changed that system. So you'd think he'd be able to play in that system. Obviously very young, very raw. He's only played a handful of games, but he's done very well. I mean, can you imagine making your debut in August and already you've got a club like Manchester United interested in you? When you play in a league in Paraguay, no disrespect to Paraguay, but it's not like Manchester United have, we've got close ties there, and we're always looking at the Paraguay league to see which players we can get. So let me know what you think about this move. This is one of those where it's a bit of a no-brainer, because you look at the fee, what we're talking, $4 million plus $1 million in add-ons and over $3.5 million. I mean, it's a free hit, isn't it? It's like, if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world, because we've not shed loads of money. We've spent a little bit of money, but if it doesn't work out, okay, you probably still get some sell-on value because you're still young. And if it does, you may potentially have a player who can play for United for many years to come. Jordy Pilling, welcome to the Academy. Just joined. Don't forget, we've got extra content on our members section. We're also doing the 12 days of Paddock, where you can win prizes and a bumper prize at the end of that run as well. So make sure you check out the members section. GJC says, imagine the bust-up headlines when Keane was on. We'll get into that little bust-up story a little bit later on. Let me know what you think about Diego León. It's good to see the usual suspects in the chat as well. Notch is in there, Robert Tater's in there, Alex King Dino, Matty H says, morning Jay, morning all, nice to wake up, and United winning wasn't a dream. There you go, yeah, we've actually beaten someone. Santa Notch says, nice to have negotiated a reasonable or a sensible fee, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it is a sensible fee. It's a bit of a no-brainer here. Like getting a player in, a young player, for a decent fee makes a lot of sense to me. Chris Quigley says, good morning, folks, up the Paddock. Ben Hayes says, what does this mean for Harry Amas? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the same age, but Harry Amas hasn't been playing any first-team football. Did all right in pre-season, didn't he? We spoke to him at pre-season. I think he played a few games, actually. Was it Rangers and Arsenal game, and I forget which exact fixtures but he played a few games, and I thought he did well. I thought he got better and better as the games went along, but it doesn't look like the manager is ready to use him yet, or he's considering him. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think this necessarily closes the door on Harry Amas, but it does sort of put another player between him and the first team. So we'll have to wait and see. Ian Mark says, love Shaw, but he can't stay fit. We need left back, wing back. Santa Notch says, maybe Amas isn't ready yet. He's only 17. So he's only young, innit? It's only early days. PB says, Harry Amas is good, but not physically strong enough. Yeah, this kid is a little bulldozer. So he's talking about him there. Rob Lynn says, seems to be trying to buy a team of elite teenagers for small amounts of money. Remember, Sir Jim wants to buy the next Mbappe. Yeah, we saw that, didn't we, with the interview that he did, where he said, like, I don't want to buy Mbappe. I want to buy the next Mbappe, which, it makes sense, really, doesn't it? I mean, I know it's like, well, the next Mbappe doesn't exactly grow on trees, but rather than going out and spending lots of money, because United can't do that, to go out and try and bring in someone like Diego León, young player, up and coming, only played a handful of games but done very well. We'll have to wait and see. I think you just got to remember, though, sometimes you have to be patient with these players, because even though he's coming in July, he might come in July and not be ready yet. It might take him a little while. Don't forget, remember when we spent a lot of money on Amad Diallo? What was he, 18 at the time? I think we had a deal for him which was around 12, 15 million or whatever, that could rise up to 37 million. That was like, what, 3 years ago? We've had to wait for Diallo to be ready to go into the first team. Had a couple of low moves. So just because United spend money on someone doesn't mean you're going to go straight into the team. Remember, I think we spent 10 million on Hannibal Mejbri, and he never really became a first team player. I know he played a couple of games under Erik ten Hag, but we'll have to wait and see with this kid, Diogo León. Let us know what you think anyway. Let us know what you think about this move. Let us know if you know anything about him as well. Ellen says, we signed a 17-year-old Tanks. Morning, Jay, says Andrew. Good morning to Stephanie Griffiths. Andrew also says, we are building for the future. Rocky says, some fans will look at 17, 20-year-olds and start talking about them as if they are in the late 20s. Robert Donovan says, is this a case of spending 100 million on 3 to 4 youth players and hoping they come good, and if not, sell on, rather than buying a player we need right now? Maybe. I don't know. It might be a little bit of a shift. We don't know what we're going to do in the summer transfer window, do we? Because PSR is a thing. There's sort of maybe we're going to sell Marcus Rashford to generate some funds. If we don't do that, or if we do, I don't know what the transfer kit is going to be. But you can imagine, I was saying this the other day, the days of Manchester United going out and spending like 70, 80, 90 million on a player. How much did we spend? Was it Pogba was about 89 million, Anthony was around 80 million. I think that was euros though. Harry Maguire was around 80 million, Sancho was around 72 million. So the days of those sort of transfers might be over. They might be, because PSR is such a thing, and also you've got Ineos who seem to want to do things a little bit differently. So we'll have to wait and see whether this is going to be a massive shift of we are now just going to buy youngsters, or if it's just we're buying youngsters, but we're also going to go out and spend 40, 50, maybe 60 million on players as well. Because, yes, you want a plan for the future, but I don't think, personally, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come in and thought, okay, we're just going to, the policy should be to buy young players that are going to be ready in 4 or 5 years. He's going to want some instant returns. Yes, Omar Brada said he expects United to win the league in 2028, but United need to be competitive before then as well. We want to be winning trophies, we want to be challenging near the top end of the table, and you don't do that if you haven't got players that can come into the team and perform right now. So we'll have to wait and see. And I think it's going to be one of those where you have some younger players like Diogo León, and you have some older players as well. Rogue Star 69 says we're better without Rashford on the pitch. John Mills says, love you, Jay. Yeah, Rashford, I mean, he's getting a lot of stick at the minute. He didn't cover himself in glory last night as well. Ant L says, it's a good model to build for the future. Even those players who don't succeed will be saleable assets. That's a great point as well. All Football Nostalgia says, they always say they are skin. We are skin my ass. We'll have to wait and see. Andrew Dickinson says, we are building an amazing youth team. More important, they play together, so if a few break through, they can play together. Ibrahimov, Obi Martins, Leon, yeah, Chido, Obi Martins. We spoke to Chido, Obi Martins, I should say. We spoke to Ryan Hopper yesterday about him. I think there's a video coming out tomorrow. Or it might even be over the weekend, actually. Video out over the weekend where we're going to be talking about Chido and how well he's done. This so far since he's been playing for the academy, what he's done at Arsenal. Hopper worked with him. He was doing some extra training with Ryan Hopper, so he can speak from experience there and tell us what he made of the kid. So we'll be getting into that. Tiger UK says, Jay, has the Monstars from the 1994 film Space Jam stole Rashford's abilities? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on. Should we talk about this bust-up that's doing the rounds? There was this little argument at the end of the game last night between Amad Diallo and Rasmus Hojlund, both of those playing a part in Manchester United turning the game around and getting the win in the Czech Republic. And it says here in Sky Sports, Rasmus Hojlund, Amad Diallo bust up. Man United boss Ruben Amorim welcomes healthy spat following Viktoria Plzeň comeback win. So basically, I've been reading this. Ruben Amorim, he doesn't seem too concerned. I don't think it was like a massive fight or anything. He was asked about it, and he says, yes, I was aware of that, and for me, it's perfect. You know, in the moment, we need to feel something. If we need to fight each other, it's like family or like a family. For me, it's a very, very good sign. We need to feel something, and that is important. So he couldn't play it down more if he tried. He's not angry or annoyed by it, certainly not publicly. He's saying, you know, it's perfect. There's the players are sort of, you know, showing that they care. It says it here. It says, puts to the Portuguese, it shows the players care, he said. He said, that is clear. When you don't care, you don't do nothing. When you care, you fight with your brother, with your father, with your mother. For me, it's a very good sign. I didn't know about this until this morning. So I wasn't aware that we'd had this little, or Diallo and Højlund had this little spat, if you can call it that. Højlund's very vocal in it. He lets people know when he's not happy with passes he doesn't get. We've seen him do it with Anthony. We've seen him do it with Garnacho. He's obviously made his feelings clear to Amad Diallo as well, and they've had a little bit of a row. There you can see the manager had more to say in it. He said it's a normal thing. I think it's a positive thing, a healthy thing. So I let the players and the captain to calm down the things. If I see it's too much, I will go inside the dressing room, but it's their space. They have to talk, to fight. And again, for me, it is a very important thing. So he's not too bothered, is he? And I think it's now worth getting upset or angry about. Two players having a bit of a chat after the game. Yeah, they might have got a little bit heated. Højlund maybe not happy with some of the delivery. I presume that's what started it. Diallo fighting his corner. Meh is how I feel about that. Mr. Letter says, greedy little wingers always make bad decisions, trying to be the hero and ignoring easy passes. I get that point, and I think that is a bit of an issue at Manchester United, but I don't think it's an issue with Amad Diallo. I know last night there was a couple of times where he shot when he could have passed it, but I think on the whole, he is quite selfless, Amad Diallo. I don't think he's a greedy person or greedy winger at all. Let's look at some stats as well. Don't be too negative about it. Got some stats here. Rasmus Hojlund, 34 minutes versus Viktoria Plzeň. 4 shots, 3 shots on targets, 2 goals, 1 tackles, 1 big chance, and a partridge in a pear tree there. Did very well. Massive impact off the bench. Also, you can see there, Amad Diallo, 100% tackles won. Bit crap that, innit, eh? Only winning 100% of your tackles. Get a grip. 93% pass accuracy. I mean, you can almost take that for granted. Superb. 62 touches, so see a bit of the ball. 16 final third passes, 4 dribbles, 2 crosses, 1 big chance created. Statman Dave there with the stat. He says, absolutely cooking under Ruben Amorim, man of the match. Amad Diallo's done very well under Ruben Amorim. Slightly more forward yesterday. We saw him in that 10 position. He has been used as a wing back, but did well, as did Rasmus Hojlund. Let's talk about Mason Mount. I spoke about him after the game because Mason Mount is a player I thought he did all right when he came on last night, but he's a player that needs to start performing for Manchester United. There was a comment there from Bruno Fernandes on Mason Mount's Instagram. It just says class. So obviously Bruno Fernandes giving him a bit of public support there. Probably needs it as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Mason Mount. I like him. I think he's a good player. Is it going to work out at Manchester United? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think we can say definitely it is or it isn't. He's had a horrible time of injuries. He needs a run of games and he needs to show himself in those games as well. If he can build on last night's performance, yes, it was only a extended cameo against the team that are from the Czech Republic. It's not anything to start shouting about, but it's a step in the right direction. We just need to see more of those steps. Let's talk about Andre Onana, from the ridiculous to the sublime, or from the sublime to the ridiculous. Where's this from, sorry? The BBC is saying, is Man United keeper Onana part of problem or solution for Ruben Amorim? You saw Andy Tate, or you might have seen Andy Tate last night, was suggesting that maybe Amorim could do something drastic for the derby and drop Andre Onana. I don't think that'll happen. But he says here, you've got some mistakes that he's made costly ones. It goes back to the Galatasaray game last season at Old Trafford. He had an absolute stinker in that game, but this season he's been much better. Towards the end of last season, or in the middle part of the season, I thought he did very well. He's still got one in him, hasn't he, Andre Onana? I think it's safe to say that. The sad thing about last night is, after the Forest game, where he made that mistake, he didn't have a good game against Nottingham Forest, let's not kid ourselves, and one of the goals in particular, I think it was a Morgan Gibbs-White goal, it was terrible from a goalkeeping perspective. I like Andre Onana, but I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. When he makes a mistake that is awful, I'll call it out for what it is, and it was awful against Nottingham Forest. So he needed to do better last night. Just have a nice, simple, drama-free game. Didn't happen. More or less gave Plzen a goal, didn't it? And you could see him celebrating at the end when we got the winner. Ran the full length of the pitch to celebrate with the players, and you can understand why, because that kind of got him off the hook. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Because at Inter he was amazing in Europe, amazing in the Champions League, and at United last season he struggled in the Champions League, and now he's struggling in the Europa League. It's just not happening for him at Manchester United when it comes to European competitions, although I think in the league he's been much better. We've got some stats to sort of show you've got to be positive about it. Most clean sheets in the Premier League, Onana. Then you've got, behind him, you've got Jordan Pickford. So is it 6 clean sheets? Jordan Pickford's got 5. David Ray's got 5. Matt Seltzer's got 5. Alisson, who has been injured, to be fair, for some of the season, has got 3. Doesn't tell you the full story, does it, with clean sheets? Because, we've seen it in the past, haven't we? Where I remember there was one week, a couple of seasons ago, where I think we went to Forest, funnily enough, and David De Gea had a clean sheet and he had nothing to do. And it was funny because Garth Crooks put him in his team of the week. I don't think he made one save. It was just bizarre that he'd put him in. It was like, what are you on about? And that's not hating on De Gea, but if you literally had nought to do during the entire course of the game, why would you be in the team of the week? But my point is, sometimes clean sheets don't give you the full story. Now, the BBC's going with this angle of comparing him to David De Gea, which I kind of get, because even though I don't like it, I understand it, because it was a big decision by Erik ten Hag to let David De Gea go. Some people questioned it. I thought it was the right move. I thought David De Gea in that last season at Manchester United, despite having a lot of clean sheets, wasn't great. You saw it in the FA Cup final when we lost to City. He was pretty woeful. There was a few games as well, the Sevilla game in particular, where he was just all over the gaff. This season, they've done a bit of a comparison. It's not very scientific, I'm not going to lie. For starters, one of them's at Fiorentina, one of them's at Manchester United. That ain't the same. Playing for Fiorentina, the expectation, the scrutiny, all the rest of it, and playing for Manchester United are not the same. Now, you can see here, David De Gea's only played 40 games compared to Andre Onana's 22. Clean sheets, they're the same, but again, they've not played the same amount of games, so it doesn't tell you the full story. Andre Onana's conceded more goals. David De Gea's only conceded 11, but Andre Onana's faced more shots. Save percentage for David De Gea is better. The saves, there's more from Andre Onana, but he's faced more. The XG faced by Andre Onana is a lot higher as well. But then the XG prevented is slightly lower. And then if you could go up, errors leading to goals too, none for De Gea. Passing accuracy, this was the problem with David De Gea. 69% passing accuracy isn't great, is it? Let's be honest. That was one of the reasons why a lot of people thought it was time for him to move on from Manchester United. Just a little comparison there. There's going to be a lot of this. If Andre Onana doesn't fix up, he's going to get compared to David De Gea. There's going to be reports or rumours that the manager's, not happy with him or looking at other keepers. We get that. That is, the nature of the beast when you're a goalkeeper at Manchester United. Personally, I think Andre Onana will be fine. I think he's having a good season on the whole. I think he's just had 2 bad games. I think he can bounce back, and he needs to bounce back this weekend. We need a good performance from Andre Onana against Manchester City, because if he makes mistakes in that game, those are the types of ones that can live with you for a very long time. Let me know what you think. Master Century says, what is the point? I understand why, what is the point of it? It's something that's being spoken about. It's on the BBC website. I'm seeing a lot of it on social media. We're not going to ignore it. We'll talk about it, whether you deny it or not. Stephanie Griffey says Andre De Gea. Did I say Andre De Gea, or is that? I probably did. I don't know. Ryan Rogan says Onana has also made some top saves. Let's try supporting our players when they have a wobble. If he fails to respond to that time and time again, then okay, maybe. But overall, he's been good. I agree with that. I think overall, he has been good. Jed's dead, baby, says Amorim started Pep's fall from grace, and now he's going to finish it. Lol. I think we can leave it there. I think we can wrap it up there. We're going to be back later on today with the brew. Me and Stephen Alston will be back for that one. So if you're not doing already, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Thank you, Stephanie Griffiths, pointing out we've got 200 likes. I've been Jay. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.